When it comes to the ongoing and seemingly never-ending reasonable accommodation of a certain religion of peace, a phrase from George Orwell's Animal Farm springs to mind. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Case in point, recently, the city of Ottawa held a public event celebrating the hijab, an Islamist head covering that many Muslim women themselves consider oppressive. The organization behind the event was the oddly named City for All Women Initiative. The organization asked Canadian non-Muslim women in the nation's capital to offer support for the hijab by wearing one regardless of their faith. It took place right at City Hall in Ottawa, and it was meant to be a show of solidarity. Now, some questions spring to mind. Solidarity against what, pray tell? And what is the impetus for such a civic endorsement? Hey, you want to wear the hijab, wear the hijab. It's a free country, unlike so many other countries where the hijab is predominant. But why did this organization seek out the municipal version of the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval? And why was the approval given? I don't see Sikhs demanding a national turban day, nor have I come across any Jews clamoring for a national kippah day. What gives? Well, welcome to yet another episode of an unreasonable accommodation, aka Sharia creep. Apparently, no longer is tolerance and acceptance enough when it comes to Islam. Now it's all about affirmation and celebration. The mantra seems to be, if it's Islamic, it's good, and if it's good, it's Islamic. And while some claim the hijab is a fundamental part of being a Muslim woman, that's simply not true. The roots of the hijab can be traced back to the 70s, and by that I mean the 1970s, not the 1370s. As author Tariq Fatah noted in a recent Sun column, on March 7th, 1979, the newly formed Iranian Islamic Republic declared that henceforth all Iranian women wouldn't be allowed to step outside of their homes if they didn't have their heads covered by a chador, which is a black blanket-like shawl, or a hijab. While millions of Iranians thought this was a early April Fool's joke, it was actually a prelude of the shape of things to come. Indeed, it soon became clear the Ayatollahs weren't kidding around, and any woman found naked, i.e. if their head wasn't entombed in cloth, well, they would be imprisoned. Hey, maybe life under the Shah wasn't exactly paradise, but this clothing decree was the first taste of hell Persians would experience, thanks to the Islamists calling the shots in Tehran. Oh, and what do the feminists in the Western world have to say? Alas, the silence is deafening. After all, folks, we're talking about that no-fly zone that is Islam. But I say, in for a penny, in for a pound. If solidarity for the sisters means embracing symbols of female oppression, why stop at the hijab? Why not promote burqa day or niqab day? Actually, why don't we broaden the scope? How about a day in which we honor the chastity belt? And how does National Foot Binding Day grab you? In fact, let's go all in and champion the medical procedure known as female circumcision. By the way, if you refer to female circumcision as FGM, female genital mutilation, some progressives will chastise you for being culturally insensitive. My rebel colleague, Faith Goldie, tells me of a time when she was enrolled in an African studies course at the University of Toronto. It was verboten to refer to female circumcision as female genital mutilation. Rather, the professor promoted the acronym FGB, female genital beautification. Beautification. Obviously, the instructor never underwent this extremely painful and sometimes deadly procedure herself. But hey, who are we to refer to a barbaric practice as a barbaric practice? So today we celebrate the hijab. Hey, it's even part of the police uniform in some Canadian cities. In a generation or two, perhaps Western municipalities will also hold rallies in support of female genital beautification. Who knows? Don't get mad, folks. It's just the way things are. Some animals are more equal than others. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.